Here's why your agency will die at 30K per month. And the reason I'm making this video is because this is pretty much exactly where we almost died because our ops were a little bit cooked, but let's get into that. Okay, so if you're a solo founder, your agency is probably going to die at like 20 to 30K per month. Why? Because you are literally doing everything. The reality of what life at 30K per month as an agency owner looks like. Probably have 5 to 10 clients, but they all have different needs, they have different wants, they're all going to need meetings, all of them want to be your number one priority, they're all fighting for that. Delivery is most likely still going to be on you, but all your projects at this level is pretty much going to be custom and you yourself are responsible for your outcomes. Let me just move my head. You're going to be sitting in Slack every day, you're going to be putting out all the fires. You probably have a few contractors, but realistically, it's probably just people that are there to kind of fill in the gaps. For me, it was just like I couldn't design, so I hired a designer. Right? But no one's really there to take responsibility and actually own your outcomes. Now, you have all of this to deal with while you are responsible for the growth, sales, and marketing for your business, and you obviously cannot afford to stop that. Otherwise, this is what gets you out of the game, right? This is the most important thing that you can do in business, right? Just hands down. Now, the problem here at this level is that you are a glorified freelancer. At 30K per month, you're busy all the time, but you don't really have the time, or to be honest, even like the headspace to grow. You've maxed out your own personal capacity, right? Like during this period, I was doing like 60-hour work weeks. I was doing weekends, just trying to stay on top of fulfillment. I was literally writing like my own campaigns. It was good money, but like at what cost? And so if you're like me, you probably started a business and an agency to actually get back your time. But right now, you're in the glorified freelancer zone. You are the product. If you stop working, there's no more money. So let me show you how to get out of that just so you can kind of get back to focusing on growth and break through that 30K per month ceiling. So there's 3 key beliefs that you actually need to get over first. And the first one is clients only want to work with me. This is something that I had for a long time. It's something that you probably have. But like if you go to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, do you expect Gordon Ramsay himself to be the one that cooks you your dinner? Obviously not. Right, he's obviously got a team who does this for him. Gordon Ramsay himself, he's doing like high leverage things and important stuff that only Gordon Ramsay can do, right? Only Gordon Ramsay can be in a reel or be in a show or whatever it might be. But yeah, like Gordon Ramsay's got like hundreds of people that cook for him, right? He's got a team of professionals. They run his restaurant, they cook the menu, and he's got trainings and systems in place so that all of his restaurants are creating like 10 out of 10 really good steaks. Apparently they're not that good, but anyway. But yeah, like he's got a team working this for him. So your clients, they actually care more about getting the result. They don't really care about who they work with. So you really got to get over this fear or this thought to say, oh, clients only want to work with me. Clients are never going to want to work with anyone else. Secondly, one of the other big things which I've noticed, and to be honest, again, which I had, is that like employees just don't care about results as much as I do. So I have to do it. Otherwise, my clients are not going to get good results. But this is what prevented me from actually hiring players that I can just trust a lot earlier. I really thought that I was the only one who could create great email marketing strategies and also care about client results. I'm great at email marketing. I'm great at client management. But the account managers that work for me now just have decades of experience over me in that industry. And they literally treat our clients' business as their own. They care for the outcomes on their accounts. And they will literally spend 8+ hours per day just looking into client accounts and actually just obsessing on how to grow those accounts. So you need to get over the belief that employees don't care about results as much as I do, because there is an abundance of player talent that exists that would love to give their 100% effort in a fast-growing company. And also, this is another big limiting belief that I had, is that a lot of these people don't want to start their own businesses, right? Like just because they're very talented, it doesn't mean they want to take the risk themselves. A lot of these guys actually would prefer to just have a cushy role with great culture, with great people, and be in a fast-growing company. That is actually like enough for these people. Finally, especially at the start, when you're kind of just like trying to get deals, you will be doing a lot of custom deliverables. All of your clients are probably going to have different types of projects, but as you scale, especially as you're trying to push past 30K per month, not every client needs custom deliverables. You are not necessarily paid for a custom strategy. You are more paid for results. And so clients don't really care how they get that. As long as they know you have a system that they haven't tried and they know and you have some sort of proof that it works. What this means is that you need to systemize your deliverables so that you can actually streamline the process of delivery for your clients. Okay, so 3 beliefs that you need to get over. Now, the 3 steps to actually break through that 30K per month ceiling. Firstly, you just need to build a team. This is the way to get past 30K per month. If you're running solo, if you're running with a small team, you are just not going to get past here unless you have a team that actually takes responsibility. You need to let them take ownership of their role. So there's a common belief in hiring that you should be hiring people that can do the job 80% as good as you. And I'm sure at a certain scale, that's probably going to be the case. But I really believe that this is wrong. You need to hire people who can do the job better than you can, because that way they can actually take full ownerships of your projects. And yes, they're going to be expensive. You cannot hire someone who's like $5 off Upwork and then expect to trust them with your client's business. You actually need to invest in good talent here. Nextly, your next hire is going to vary pretty greatly based on what type of agency you run. But I would say at this level, if you're trying to break through the 30K per month ceiling, there are 2 key hires that you need to make that really do free up a lot of your time. So 2 key hires that you need. I'd say the first 2 hires that you need, and this is just really going to be like the foundational stuff that you need to scale, is a high-level industry specialist and a project manager. You need these 2 people working together, because that actually like gives you a combination or like a team that will handle pretty much 95% of the work off of you. And you also kind of build like a hierarchy almost, where like there's a decision makers that requests have to go through before they eventually get to you. So who to hire? You need a high level industry specialist. What do? These guys are going to be responsible for your client success. So you tell them straight up, it's part of the interview, it's part of the role. You say, if my clients don't do well, that's your fault. If my clients do well, that is also because of you. What do? They speak on the high level strategy and they really look at like the high level insights. They're kind of like the big picture communicator, right? They create the vision for the client. They look at what they need. They look at how, for example, your service fits into the larger part of their business. And then they actually make sure that it fits with everything else that's going on. In my example, this was a senior email account manager. We've got a couple now. These guys are like literally decades of experience. And these are the people that say, hey, email marketing is just one part of your channel, but you have media buying, you have CRO, you have Google ads, you have Facebook ads, whatever else, right? And they understand those pieces of the puzzle. And they also understand how email fits into those pieces of the puzzle and how it actually stimulates business growth. So my kind of lead, my high level industry specialists, my strategists are the ones that communicate this to the client, and they make sure that our clients are getting good results with our service. The next person that you need to hire is a project manager. This is kind of like the person who is like a bit of like, not necessarily admin, but they're like a high level assistant for your high level industry specialist. So this is the person who's responsible then for ensuring that client deliverables go out in time. They're a bit more of a nitty gritty operator. They're a very, very strong executor, and they're going to be the one who manages the internal team if you have some. Right. So for us, we have a high level industry specialist. We've got a project manager, and our project managers will manage both a copywriter and a designer. So for us, again, internally, this is an email coordinator. For yourself in an ads agency or something like that, that might just be a campaign manager. And again, what their role is to kind of execute on the big vision stuff. So the high level industry specialist does the big picture stuff, and then the project manager does more the nitty gritty within the team, making sure that deliverables are actually going out on time. So why these 2 hires? They make the foundation of a team that can actually handle 100% of the comms, the strategy, and the deliverables of a client, which means really your task to do is to really just kind of onboard the client, kind of like go through the sales process with them, and they check in on them just to make sure that what was discussed in the sales calls is actually being delivered by your team. Next thing here is that if there is an escalation, let's say like something goes wrong in the client account, which happens all the time, of course, or if there's a final say that is needed on strategy, you've actually built that in. Because first it can go to the project manager. If it's something that's bigger, it can go to the high level industry specialist, and 99% of things will stop here. It's really going to be for the things that only you can decide as the business owner, like extra pay, extra projects that go out of scope. Maybe they're not happy with how the industry specialist, like tackled a task or something like that, then it'll go to you. But most things will pretty much stop here. Then finally, if there's nitty gritty tasks that are important and need to be done, you've also built in a person to be responsible for these types of tasks to ensure that they don't get lost. For example, in my email marketing agency, Klaviyo setup is super, super important, but not necessarily that difficult. So we delegate it, right? We get a project manager to actually do it, or they will assign it to our technician, and then she will check just to make sure that it's been done correctly. So again, you really want to build the foundation of a team that can make sure that all tasks required on an account are off of your plate. You need to systemize your deliverables. So this does not mean that all your clients get copy-pasted, templated slop, obviously not. But it does mean that you have a set, repeatable process and a structure that you know that gets consistent client results. So just an example from my email marketing agency, every client we onboard is going to have a welcome series and an abandoned client flow, right? That's just very standard email marketing. So here's just a battle tested structure that we use per email. For example, for the welcome series, you see here, email 1 is always going to have an offer to buy. We're always going to show a lifestyle of the products. We're also going to push like our best-selling products. After a day, email number 2, we're always going to do something that's a bit more branded. What's the vision of the brand? Do a message from the founder. Day 3, we're going to show benefits of the products. We're going to show reviews. We're going to go into social proof. Day 4, we're going to do an us versus them. We're going to address any alternatives to the product. And then just going to the abandoned checkout. Email 1 is always going to be a reminder. Email 2 is always going to be a reminder of benefits. We're going to give an offer that's applicable to the brand, and then we're going to do a competitor comparison. Email number 3, we're always going to address any FAQs. And again, you can see here, it's a very repeatable structure. But of course, every brand is going to have their own set of FAQs. They're going to have their own set of social proof, which means every email is still going to be unique for that brand, right? They have unique stories, products, assets, audience. Our work, our magic is still going to be to cater for that audience. But having it systemized in this way means that our copywriters know exactly the type of things that they need to write for, that they need to research, right? They know, okay, cool, FAQs. I know I'm going to write FAQs for Nike. So what are the FAQs that Nike have? Our designers, they know exactly what type of assets they're going to need depending on the email that they're writing. If they're writing email 1, they're like, hey guys, I need lifestyle images. If they're writing email 4, they're like, hey guys, do we have any competitor comparisons? And finally, our managers can easily brief the team while communicating to the client on what and when to expect deliverables, because we just know that we have a process, it runs smooth, and our team knows what to do and how to execute. Then thirdly, you just need to map out the first 4 weeks of the client experience. You need to ensure that each of your clients have a consistent experience when they're onboarding. Because one of the main things as well that will stop you from getting past 30K per month is you're just going to have clients that churn. Eventually, it just happens. Clients churn. Churn is going to get you. And what you want to do to prevent that as much as possible is the first 4 weeks of the client experience need to be super, super dialed in. Now, here's what I mean. We map out the first 12 weeks of our client onboarding. So we know exactly what is going to be delivered on what week. And we literally will have like message templates per day, depending on like what we need to communicate to the client and to let them know like when they're going to get it. Now, you don't necessarily need to be as in-depth as this, right? Yours could literally be something like, hey, on week 1, you're going to get deliverable A. On week 2, you're going to deliverable B. On week 3, deliverable C. On week 4, deliverable D. And you do kind of want to make sure and map out that your touch points that you're communicating to the client is actually scheduled. So for us, every Monday, we'll hit up all of our clients and we'll say, hey, hope you had a great weekend. Here's what to expect during the week, or here's what we are working on during the week. Clients don't necessarily know that you're working on the account, so you actually have to let them know. You have to have a consistent touch point, and that way your client is much less likely to churn. And if you have the deliverables mapped out, instead of just kind of leaving it to chance and just checking in here and there and making sure that it got done, your clients are actually going to be happy. Your clients are going to stay. Then once you've mapped out these deliverables, it becomes the role of your team to ensure that you are actually hitting these targets. So quick little recap here. There's 3 beliefs that you need to shift. Clients don't just want to work with you. They want to get results. It doesn't necessarily matter who gets them the results. Could be your team, could be yourself. Preferably, it's going to be your team if you want to scale. Secondly, employees can and do care as much as you about client results. You just got to get the right talent. Thirdly, not all of your clients need super customized deliverables. You need to systemize your deliverables so that it's actually easy for you to fulfill. Now, some action steps for you that you can take right after watching this video. Just kind of look at your current team setup. Is there someone that is not you who is responsible for your client's success? If no, that's probably the biggest thing that you need to do, which is you need to make that hire. You need to take the responsibility of delivery off of your plate. Secondly, do you have systemized deliverables for your service? If no, you need to start creating SOPs so your team actually know what and how to deliver. Thirdly, do you know what your client experience is for the first 4 weeks of onboarding? If you do not, map out the deliverables that they need to receive week by week or day by day. Map out the message templates, map out the deliverables, and say, guys, we need to be on target. By week 1, we need to have this. By week 3, we need to have this. Once you have the 3 points above set up, you are actually now in a great spot to push past 30K per month. Because now you can scale comfortably, knowing that your clients are going to be well served and they won't churn even without you giving all of your attention. Because again, remember, right, your attention has to be elsewhere. You now have a team who is responsible for all of client delivery, and you can make sure that the deliverable is actually better than what would be if you just did it yourself. And you now actually have time and headspace to work on sales and marketing, which, to be honest, is where pretty much most of your time should go if you are trying to push past 30K per month. So I hope this helped. Just trying a new little content style or side like the email marketing stuff. And yeah, if there's any other topics that you guys kind of want me to talk about, just leave it as a comment. I'm more than happy to create a Loom video on it. And yeah, hopefully this helps.